Hey everyone. So I'm standing next to somebody who's a major part of the history of our sport. And I've been trying to think of how to say this in a way that doesn't sound creepy. But every single disc golfer out there at one or multiple points in their career has physically touched a plastic object that this man physically touched first. Is that probably fair to say?
Yeah, sure.
Nearly 100%.
Yeah.
This is Craig Myers with Zing mini discs. Originally Little Flyers Minis, which was the first, I believe, the biggest mini company in the sport in the early days.
Yeah, in the 80s, yeah.
In the
late 80s, yeah.
And now is Zing mini discs. And we're in Indianapolis. I just wanted to talk to you just for a minute.
Sure.
Tell me how this all started. I mean, everyone's making golf discs, and you're making miniature ones.
Yeah, it started with the introduction to the game of disc golf. A local player by the name of Scott Hummema. I hired him to work at another plastics company. Knew nothing about disc golf. He took me out one day on a weekend and showed me the game, the sport, and from there on I was in love with the game. And so I wanted to make some kind of contribution to this, to the sport, something I really loved, and I was in plastics anyway, so I figured, why don't I make a mini mold? And that's when I started making discs for Little Flyers.
Well, when did, and I should know this, I try to be a sports historian, but I couldn't come up with this. When was it originally required that you mark your lie with a mini?
It was written in the PDGA rule book
84?
early on. Yeah, early on.
Something like that?
Yeah, you had to have a marker of a certain size, diameter, and there were some stipulations about it, but nothing about colors or foils or anything that we do right now.
Yeah, originally, by the way, you would flip your disc over. But you may have wanted to throw that disc you were flipping, but there was a period of time where you weren't allowed to replace it with another disc. So once you threw a disc, you could not rethrow that disc. It's crazy, the evolution of our sport. And then minis came along. Were you the first company to just make minis, or were the manufacturers making them?
Some of the larger manufacturers on the West Coast made some, and then there was a gentleman in, I think it was in Arizona. His name was Tom Lander. He was one of the first ones to do kind of a mass
I know
produced.
Tom really well.
Yeah.
What was his company?
This was called the Mini Sport Flyer, I do believe.
The mini. Okay, mini flyers. Gotcha.
Mini Sport
Yeah,
Flyer.
I knew Tom for forever.
Yeah.
Okay, and so was he the first one that made minis that wasn't a golf disc manufacturer?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
and then you followed after him.
I followed right after him. He introduced myself shortly a few months after I started making Little Flyers, and he said, "I'm your competition," and I said, "Okay, cool. Well, let's
Gotcha.
work together." And ended up working together on some stuff.
And then you
Yeah.
secretly did the Vince McMahon running all the territories out of business, and you just hammered Tom into to working at a bed and breakfast in New Mexico.
That's right. Yeah.
God.
Well, it is New Mexico.
It's
not
hardcore.
Arizona.
It's a tough game back in the Wild West days of our sport.
Wild West.
All right, so you made Little Flyers forever, and there was a point where you couldn't go to a tournament without, I mean, even though the companies, tournaments were making hot stamp discs from manufacturers, there was still something special about takes more work to go get the minis separately.
Right.
And so everywhere, like in the 90s, when I was touring, you saw mini flyers pretty much at every tournament. You ended up selling that to Gotta Go, Gotta Throw.
Yes.
They're still available there.
Yes, you can still get those.
Yep, so Gotta Go,
Little
Gotta
Flyer
Throw,
name, yep.
Little Flyer minis available, which were awesome. And then a few years later, you started Zing minis. And then you also made the soda can minis.
That was an accident, by the way.
I don't drink, so they've been referred to as beer can minis, but I don't know what that means. They're soda can minis to me, but they're minis that you can actually pop on top of a soda can that perfectly fit and keep your soda from having bees land in it and
Bugs and bees, and
But that was by accident.
yeah, it was originally made to be a bag tag. I wanted something small, lower cost item, and I could mold it with a hole in it. It'd be like a bag tag, like a luggage tag, your bowling ball tag, or your disc golf bag tag. And I had the mold also made where you can have it not have a hole in it. And a gentleman by the name of David Schrag, he now works for Gateway Disc Sports. he called me up and he said, "Hey, Craig, you know these things fit over soda cans and pop cans?" I go,
Oh,
"No,
wait.
why?"
He worked at Gateway. He didn't say soda can.
Yeah. Well, he worked at Gateway after working here.
Okay.
He came to Indy, but he worked as a cook up in Michigan at a bar. He called me up and he said, "These things fit perfectly over cans." And I go, "No way!" So I rushed and got one, and by golly, they fit right on there. And so it just took off from there. So yes, it was a mistake.
That's amazing. Well, I just took a tour of the factory. I saw all the machines. I saw the way everything's run. I'd been here before,
Okay.
but I got to come back and take a look. If you're running a tournament or a league, everyone knows in 2021 or last year too, really hard to get golf discs for your tournament or your league or your event. But having something custom for your event to go in a player's package or that people can buy, it's an important part of an event. Only a few people are leaving with trophies and a few people are leaving with money and other things, but everybody wants to have something from your event, and Zing Minis is a perfect thing to do your custom event artwork on, right?
Correct. Yeah. Low
And
cost.
Now, are you behind 6 months like all the disc companies?
No, I'm running about 2 to 3 weeks right now. So sometimes the larger orders might take me
2 to 3
an
weeks.
extra
You hear
week,
that?
so 3 weeks tops.
All right. So, by the way, when he says 2 to 3 weeks, I'm familiar enough to know. Don't wait till 3 weeks before your tournament to do it.
That would help.
You have to get the custom dies made, and stuff gets delayed, and then there's shipping things and blah blah blah. Like, so yeah, that's very generous to
Shipping
say.
times involved. too.
Don't do 2 to 3 weeks. But this is a great thing to do for your tournament, and I can't recommend Craig anymore. He's been a friend of mine for years. I'm acting like this is all new to me, like I've known Craig since the 80s, right?
Yeah. I'd say either that or early 90s. Yeah.
By the way, I have less gray hair than you.
Yeah.
I don't want to brag or
The
anything,
sun
but
really shows it all. Yeah.
Mhm,
Well, use some color or what?
I know you got some colored dyes in there, but
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, guys, Zing Minis, all the information's down below. Place your order for your tournament. It's a great thing to do, especially when the options are so limited in 2021. And I would shake your hand, but
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 handshakes.
There you go.
2 handshakes next year.
Okay.
Well, probably a hug too.
There you go. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for having.
That's perfect.